Hey Morgan, so if you're going to do synthetic division, so say we're dividing this function by that function, then what you need to do is always take the opposite of what is inside here, or what makes this 0. So if this was -8, this would be 0, so I put -8 in the box, and then across the top I write down the coefficients of the function. So 1, -1, -62, and 80. So 1, -1, -62, and 80. Now this is going to be my remainder box, and then I just do this, okay? So I bring down the 1, the first number, and then I multiply. -8 times 1 is -8, and then I add. Well, that's -9. And then -8 and -9 is a positive 72, so I add those and I get positive 10. But when I multiply -8 times 10, I get -80, and then that added up is 0, which means the remainder is 0. Now, if I started with a cubic function and I divided out a linear function, then I'm going to be left with a quadratic. So think of it as remainder, constant, the x, and then the x squared. So I've got 1x squared minus 9x plus 10 with no remainder. Okay, so then what if I'm dividing something like this? Let's do one where it's, okay, so let's do this one. This is an x minus 2, so in the box I'm going to put a positive 2. So across the top I'm going to put 1, 6, -26, 17, 10, and -17. Okay? Bring down the 1, and write, and then so 2 times 1 is 2. And then 6 plus 2 is 8. 2 times 8 is 16. Add these up and I get -10. Multiply and I get -20. Add and I get -3. Multiply and I get -6. Add and I get 4. Multiply and I get 8, which leaves me with -9 as the remainder. Okay, so if I started with a quintic, power of 5, and I divide it by linear, then I have left over a quartic. So my answer is 1x to the 4th plus 8x cubed minus 10x squared minus 3x plus 4 plus, or in this case minus because it's a -9, but it's okay. I'll say minus 9 over what I divided by, x minus 2. Okay? Another thing you have to be aware of is when they are missing terms, like this one. See how it's got a 4, a 3, a 2, and then no linear term? So when I write this out, first of all I'm going to put a positive 1, right? So I'm going to put a positive 1 in my box because it's the 0 of that. And then across I'm going to put 3, -4, 1. I don't have the linear term, so I'm going to put a 0, and then I bring down the constant. So I bring down the 3, and I've got 1 times 3, which is 3. Add them up and I get -1. 1 times -1 is -1. Add them up and I get 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 5 is 5. So I started with a quartic. I'm going to end up with a cubic. So 3x cubed minus 1x squared plus 0x plus 0 plus 5 divided by x minus 1. Okay, that should help. And if you still need questions, or if you still have questions, just let me know.